Hey, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Jeff LaCure. This is your wake-up call. First of all, I want to say thank you. I got a lot of nice feedback, important feedback about my podcast last week on not letting depression kick your butt. And again, just from it's not even about me promoting me. I want as many people to see that as possible. There's too many people battling with anxiety and depression right now, and it doesn't need to happen. It doesn't need to happen. And remember, last week I talked with you during Don't Let Depression Kick Your Butt. I talked a lot about part of the reason we have so many people depressed now is because we have this woke ideology, this victimhood, that we're all victims. And as I was thinking about what I wanted to do today, it really dawned on me that today we need to wake up. You need to wake up. The people we care about need to wake up. And we need to cancel culture. We need to get rid of it. See, we live in the United States of America. And one of the most unique things about us, compared to any other country in the world, is that we allow people to have independent thought, independent opinions, and freedom of speech. And I'll tell you, here's one of the things that I truly value about me. There's a lot of stuff that I hear people say, and I'm like, wow, I can't believe you just said that. Or they have some opinions, and I wonder, what rock did they climb out from? But like my father, who spent 20 years defending this country, I believe we should all die for the right to have our own thoughts, our own opinions, and the freedom in which to express them. Please understand that the Constitution and the writers of the Constitution understood clearly that with free speech you may offend people. And guess what? That's okay. People don't have to agree with you, right? I've done some podcasts and the wake-up call. I've done some podcasts with my podcast partner, Richard Yancey. And we share some things that are factual, and we share some things that are opinions that we know and that I know you may not agree with. You may even be offended by. For example, during one of my podcasts about the myth of transgenderism, which just the title, I'm sure offended somebody, not my intention. But I'm not calling people they. And I'm sure that offended somebody. But don't try to cancel me for my integrity and the fact that I'm honest, and most importantly, for the strength of character to share my opinion. See, I will tell you right now that if we don't rise up collectively and cancel culture, you too will be canceled. Watch what's happening in the political arena right now. Watch what happened to RFK Jr. with one of the most famous last names in American political history, Kennedy. In some ways, the poster child, the Kennedy family name, sort of the poster child for true Democrat beliefs, for the kind of the core of the Democrat community and political ideology. And yet he is being censored. He has people on the left who say, we don't want to hear what you have to say. Now, we need to hear what people have to say. We need to have conversations about it. How do we find the truth if we don't do that? Rich and I, of Bros Who Know, we did a podcast on just exploring the idea that the vaccine A might not have actually been helpful, and just exploring the idea, was the vaccine for the vid actually harmful? And we got ripped off of YouTube. Ripped off of YouTube. Think about that. You don't have to agree with what I say. But I hope at minimum you'll allow yourself to reflect. Like, What person is going to listen to my podcast? And you know, I've been really clear how I feel about the way that COVID was handled in this country. I've been crystal clear about it. But you know what? What person's going to listen to my podcast and go, well, I'm not getting vaccinated now, or I'm going to get vaccinated because Dr. Jeff said so? How small is somebody's mind that one person can change their opinion or their view? But YouTube took it down. They tried to cancel my opinion. They tried to cancel the facts behind my opinion. And that's not what this country stands for. To the right of me right now is the American flag. And that stands for freedom. I mean, take a look at that. And I love how there's a globe right there, right? And if you notice, the American flag stands above and larger than the globe. And I'm about to offend some of you. It should. We're the coolest country on earth. We're the most diverse country on earth. We care more about liberty than any other country. We care about freedom more than any other country. We care about race and sexism and people's rights to autonomy. I'm going to tell you right now that if you allow your opinion to be silenced, you will lose your voice. And then when you speak up, you will be canceled. I'm telling you right now, in many of our public schools, K through 12, there is an agenda that a lot of teachers and even administrators don't agree with, but they're afraid to speak up. They're afraid to speak out because they don't want to lose their job. You should never lose your job because you share an opinion. See, back in the day, the Democrat values that were really taught on most institutions of higher learning, of which I used to proudly be. I used to proudly be a college and university professor. And one of the tenets of being a college and university professor, it was the core of what we did, was what was called academic freedom. And when you walked through the door of your classroom, you had the freedom of expression of ideas, of facts. You had the freedom that you encouraged your students to express opinions, to have discourse, to agree and disagree. But they didn't get a bad grade or a good grade because they agreed or disagreed with you. We didn't cancel them. Higher ed was not a place of indoctrination. It was a place where you could exchange diverse thoughts and then come to your own conclusion. That is not what is happening today. I'm telling you, wake up, or cancel culture will cancel you. You and me and all of us that believe in life and liberty and the autonomy that this country was founded on. We need, yes, it may sound like hypocrisy, we need to cancel culture. We need to have it as just a real dark moment in our history where we look back and we go, what the hell were we thinking? You know, I was listening to a song that was big in 1978 by Randy Newman, who was a music producer, and he wrote a song called Short People. And it's a parody. You couldn't have that song in 2023. Stand-up comics who are in some ways are the spokespeople, the spokesperson for highlighting the silliness of our culture, are being canceled and heckled and harmed because they're telling a joke. Let me repeat that. Because they're telling a joke. There are actually some comedy clubs now that have a sign on the door that you almost have to sign a waiver as an audience member because they don't want you triggered. By the way, I guess I am in favor of some cancellations. even though I hate cancel culture. Can we please get rid of the word? Can we cancel the word triggered? I'm so triggered. Good. I hope I trigger you every week. Because if I trigger you, you're thinking, you're feeling, you're expressing. Maybe most importantly, you're owning. And I want to cancel these two words. I love the word super and I love the word excited. I hate when they're together. Let's cancel that one. I'm super excited. The hell does that mean? I'm super excited. God. And you know who uses super excited the most? People who work in retail. People who work at retail who are on a Zoom call and they're trying to out-excite each other. And they're selling a product that almost no one cares about. And then some dude named Dave or Mark or Brian is like, I'm super excited. The hell? How meaningless has your life become that selling something gets you super excited? Wow. Now remember, a few weeks ago, I did a podcast on stop being, quote, super excited for all the meaningless stuff your kids do, right? They just jumped off the diving board. I'm so excited, so proud, super excited. You know what? I love doing this podcast, and I hope you could tell I really enjoy it. And I love the fact we got a new intern today, Quinn, the mighty Quinn, just coming in, getting it done, working with the producer of the year, our publicist of the year, that this doesn't happen, this content doesn't happen without Michelle Hebsche. Not once has she come in and told me she's super excited. Today, after this podcast, I'm sure I'm going to say, hey, Michelle, what did you think? She goes, it was super exciting. It's almost like when you use those two words, super and exciting, you're lying to someone. So let's get rid of that. I'm super excited. Back to the point. But you see sort of the absurdity. Never allow your voice to be canceled. Never allow your voice to be canceled. To all the teachers out there that don't believe the hype that you should be teaching second graders how heterosexuals and homosexuals have sex, speak up. I saw a podcast, actually I guess it was a snippet, not a podcast, from a school committee meeting where the superintendent just came right out and said, K through 12, we're not doing this stuff. And he talked about the fact that he wasn't going to have this sort of, interesting, overly explicit sex ed curriculum for kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, and on and on and on. He says, I'm not doing it. And then he talked about how he was ridiculed, how people called for him to be fired, how he even received death threats. Are you shitting me? We're going to attempt to kill someone for their opinion, for the fact that they stand on a principle. I'm telling you right now, right? And I'm a shrink. I'm a mental health professional. I'm at the highest level of caring about human emotions and the human condition. There's no other profession that cares more than mine, and I'm telling you, we got to stop indoctrinating children. We got to stop overly sexualizing them. And we got to stop the viewer who wants me canceled because I said that. Let me repeat it. We have to stop indoctrinating our children and over-sexualizing them and allow them to be kids. And yet someone is going to be triggered and they didn't find what I had to say super exciting and they're going to want to cancel me. I love when I get anonymous messages. I never get a positive anonymous message about a podcast that I've done, ever. Like when it's a really positive feedback, people leave their name, people leave contact information. When it's negative opinion, like, quote, I just got this one the other, you should be shut down. I can't believe they allow you a forum to speak. You don't know what you're talking about. They cancel themselves because they don't put their name on it. It's like the jerk who's driving in a car and they honk at you and flip you off because they know you're not going to be able to say anything to them. That's a coward. That's a chicken. See, pretty soon, as you can tell, I got a couple empty seats here. I'm going to fill the studio with people who have different views than mine. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to have a conversation. And I'm not going to attempt to cancel them. And I am certain that they are going to say things that I don't agree with. And you know what I'm going to do when they say stuff that I don't agree with? I'm going to high five them. I'm absolutely going to high five them, because then you, as the viewer, got to hear two opinions, hopefully two opinions based on fact, and then you make up your mind. You make up your mind. And here's my final point of the day. Here's what gets me real fired up. Remember, I'm a shrink. I work with lots of families. I see more and more families disconnecting with each other now because of values and political beliefs. Like, people can't even coexist anymore. Liberal Dems and conservative Republicans, for whatever reason, can't even communicate with each other anymore. If you go to dating apps, and I promise, Abby, I'm not on them, but if you go to dating apps, and I hear about this all the time, this is how it's skewed now. There are a lot of liberal Democrats who say, if you voted for Trump, or if you're a conservative, don't even reach out. Yet, I'm telling you, go to dating apps. Rarely do you see someone who identifies as conservative, independent, or even voted for Trump, for whatever that means, right? Even voted for Trump. Ooh, scary, right? They don't put on there that if you're a liberal Dem or you voted for Biden, I don't want to have contact with you. How bizarre is that? You know what? I can't date you. I can't have a relationship because of who you voted for. And guess what? And obviously I'm being facetious. I don't care. I mean, I'm not going to respect who you voted for. I have my own political beliefs, right? Matter of fact, I think both sides are dirty, but I have my own beliefs. But I can separate out your beliefs that I don't agree with, and we can have a lot of good times together. I've just learned I'm not going to talk politics with you. I have 4 kids. One of my kids I can't talk politics with. She can't do it. She is of that age, and she was indoctrinated through her bachelor's and master's degree. And, she's not going to be happy I'm saying this, but I speak truth. And she was indoctrinated. She drank the Kool-Aid. And we can't have political discourse. It gets her too revved up. See, I don't have to be right, and I don't have to agree with her. You know what I care about with my oldest daughter, who we can't have political conversations, so we don't? I just love her. And I told you jokingly on a podcast, I hope she runs for president, and I will run her campaign, but I will secretly not vote with her because there's not a political view I agree with. But I love her dearly. I love her unconditionally, and I want her to speak her truth. Maybe, just one day, she will value her father's truth too. She doesn't have to agree with it, but I'd like to think it's more important that she knows how much her father loves her than in how much her father agrees with her. This has been your wake-up call. I'm Dr. Jeff LaCure. Don't you dare let cancel culture cancel your voice or your opinion. Trust me, I always got your back. Until next week, I'll see you real soon.